lot of human beings, they start off a journey, they get excited, and they say that I can do all these things in the world, and then time goes by, it doesn't happen as fast as we want it to, so we actually decrease our level of potential. And then when you look at your life, you're sitting really close to your new cap, the new thing that you told yourself you're capable of, and you're like, yeah, I'm an 8, 9, or 10. Well, yeah, because you dropped your potential down like 1,500 notches. If you were to just for a second give yourself the permission to get reacquainted with everything you're capable of or you are gifted by your Creator to go and do and be and achieve in this world, where are you showing up right now compared to that? Because I know if you guys came in here today, there's some desire that you have to get to the next one. And I didn't come in here to hang out with people that dabble in the idea of getting to the next level. I want to work with the people that have a true desire to make an impact in the world. And that's going to happen because the truth sets us free. It's going to happen when we give ourselves an actual true rating. What's your Oprah score? Go ahead, jot it down. 1 to a 10, write it down somewhere. Now, who in the room is a 1 or a 2 by show of hands? 3 or 4? 5 or 6? 7 or 8? 9 or 10? All right, solid. So on average, who had a good view of the whole room? I did, because I have both sides. Okay. Anybody else? All right, so it looks like on average, I would give you guys like a 5. You've got some people that are like in the 5 and 6s, and then some people ranging a little bit lower. So if we're a 5 as a team, what would this number tell me about the room collectively?
50% of our potential.
I heard average, and then I heard we have potential. Which one do you think I like better? For sure. We have a lot of room to what? Grow. If you guys were like a 7, 8, or 9, I would be like, there's no need for me to be here. You don't really have much left. This is as good as it's going to get. This is incredible news because it shows me that there's room to grow in this room. What this actually tells me is that you have 50% of growth available to you when? Now, who wants a 50% raise in the next business quarter? 4 of you. Who wants a 50% raise in the next business quarter? Who wants a 50% increase in your love or zest or passion or spunk or intimacy in the next 12 months? Say aye. Who wants a 50% increase in your health or your vibrancy or your energy in the next 12 months? Say aye. Let me tell you a secret. I work with like thousands of people a month. Everyone wants 50% more. What percentage of human beings actually get there?
20.
Who said that? What's your name, sir?
Cool Deep. Cool Deep.
Cool Deep?
Yes.
Like we're cool and we're going deep. Everyone say cool deep, you rock on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Cool deep, you rock.
He's like, you didn't even pronounce it right. Very good. Okay, but yes. What did I ask you?
20%.
Oh yeah, so the 20% of human beings, we said top 20, bottom 8. And they're how far apart? Everybody wants 50% more. In fact, a lot of you in this room right now are like digging this. You're like, dang, I like KK. Other people are like, this chick is crazy. Can't believe I came here. But there's 20% of you in here right now that are fired up. Who's fired up, honestly? Cool. It's like been 11 minutes. I'm doing a good job. 20% of you that just had your hands up are actually going to leave here tonight and go do something about it. The other ones of you, you just raise your hands to be in the group. And that might be how it always is for you because that's a what? A pattern or a habit. Ask yourself what's the truth there because I'm interested in working with the human beings that see 50% and they're like, give it to me. Who's that in here? So for us to get to that next we have to ask ourselves a true question, an honest question, and this is my favorite question that my team does every quarter with Tony, Tony's brother. He asks us this question. If you want to tap into 50% more, and this is also a question that the people in the bottom 80, they never think of. So if you're willing to think at a different level right now, then you're going to love this. Who's down to do that? Who's down to do that?
Do it. Yeah.
Grab your pen. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to answer this question, and that's it because I'm on a time crunch here. So you're going to have to go quick and efficient. If you are not at a level 10, and by the way, whatever comes through your subconscious, your gut, you just slam it down on the paper. On the front side of your worksheet that you have, there's like 8 lines. The overachievers in here will actually fill out like 12. And some of you in here will only fill about 8. It's totally fine. Don't care either way. If you are not at a level 10, are you ready? 30 seconds, so get ready. If you're not at a level 10, why? Go. What is holding you back right now? What is your level 10? What's getting in the way? What has ever gotten in the way? What has ever gotten in the way? What currently is getting in the way? Can I see a few pens?
Yeah.
And I don't want to know what held you back like 15 years ago. I want to know what's holding you back today. If you truly know there's another level and you're not getting there, if you know what to do every day to get there and then you don't do it, why? Why do we know what to do and not do it? If anyone needs a pen, they're by Thomas. Got one back here. Okay, I'm just going to keep passing them back. There's one back there. And what is it really, if you were to just give yourself the permission to be really, really honest, no one will look at your paper, what is it? When I first started working with Tony, I told you I applied when I was 22. You know, I read the job description, I was lit up, I was excited, or 23, and there was a sentence that said, if you do not believe you are in the top 2% of applicants for this position, save your time and don't apply. At 23 years old, do you think I had any experience in public speaking? Do you think I had any experience in public selling?
No.
And I look at that, and I said, yeah, amazing. Unless you believe you are in the top 22%. You don't actually have to be, you just gotta believe you are. And now I'm standing up with you here today. When I went into my first training I ever did, big room of car salesmen. I was doing a segment, suck less at selling. You know, I walk in the room with 100 car sales, I'm fired up, I get in there, and they think I'm the audio technician. They couldn't believe the Tony Robbins girl was like 4'11". Like, let me show you guys, I'm actually like all the way down here, very short. You know, and they're expecting this big Tony Robbins guy to walk in the room. And immediately when I felt this thought from them, like that this can't be the Tony Robbins speaker, you know, she's so young, I thought in their mind, they're thinking there's no way she could add any value. Yeah. And then I believed it. And when you're in your head, you're dead. When you're in your head, you're dead. Why am I sharing this with you? What do you think was the thing I wrote down when I was asked this question?
You didn't believe in yourself?
My age. What was holding me back at that moment? And this is something you do at every UPW. They made me go back to UPW as an employee because they're like, you got to work on that. They said, what's holding you back right now? I said, I think I'm too young. And they told me, you are. Next. They said, what do you want? What's your outcome? You know, what's your outcome? You want the best health. You want the best relationship you've ever had. You want to finally not have to worry about bills. Like, what's the outcome you had? My outcome was that I want to be the best person to have ever done this. I want to impact the lives of the most people in this role as humanly possible, break every record, break Tony's record. And then Scotty, my boss, Tony's brother-in-law, he looked at me and he said, is the belief that you're too young helping you get there? Answer? No. And he said, KK, you know, one day you're going to get sick and tired of not adding any, and not making any, and not making an impact. And then you're going to get sick and tired of being sick and tired of not making any, and not adding any, and not having in. And then you're going to get sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and of not making any, and not adding any, and not making in. And then you're going to decide to change your belief to something else. What if you skipped all that wasted and changed the belief right now? New belief, my age is my freaking power. Got what everybody wants, my youth, my energy, my spirit, my charisma, my fresh perspective, my de-wrinkled forehead. Literally got what everybody wants, but I'm choosing to believe in a way that's not suiting me. So what we ask this question, why is it so important? If I hadn't had the awareness of that thing, I might be standing in front of you here today with the same limitation. And if I had the same limitation and I expected to make more and add more and make it bigger, if I did the same thing over and over and expected those different results, that'd be called what? So this is why the awareness is so important. So now you guys have already done step 1. That's freaking awesome. Give yourself some love. And now you're probably like, okay, KK, what do we do with it? So let's walk through this. Shout some out. What are some of these things holding us back? Okay, so we've got negative thoughts. I heard bad habits. What bad habit? Like tequila over chicken breast? What bad habit? Snooze button?
Yes.
Okay, so we've got snooze. We've got
TV.
Say it again? TV.
Social media.
Social media. So what I hear over there is our priorities or how we're spending our time. What else? I heard fear. Did I hear fear?
Fear of change.
Okay, so now look, we've got a few different types of fear. We've got fear of success, fear of failure, fear of being too much, fear of not being enough, fear of pain, fear of joy, fear of rejection, fear of love, fear of criticism, fear of what other people will, fear of what other people will, fear of getting to the next, fear of being healthy and people being like, so you're not coming out for Taco Tuesday anymore, you're just like gluten-free now. You know, we have all these different fears and then we feel paralyzed and stuck. Who's ever been there before? Say aye. 100%. Who said fear, by the way? What's your name? That said it? Sue. My mom's name. I love you already. I love my mom. Doesn't it take someone pretty fearless to admit that in a group like this? Let's give Sue some love. Okay, so we have fear. What else? Confidence. Focus. What else?
Settling for the minimum.
Settling for the minimum. What's your name? Ian, up top, my man. Check this out. He said settling for the minimum. I'm going to give you another way to look at that, another phrase. The cult of average. Who has ever felt like they just existed in an average space amongst their environment and the inside they were like dissatisfied because they knew they were capable of more and they just found themselves waking up every single day in this mediocrity? Anyone ever been there before? I'm going to give you an opportunity right now, and the opportunity is, when can you escape that? Up to who?
You.
Yeah, let's work on these things. So we've got mediocrity, average. And you know, I ask you all these things because it's important, for one, for us to recognize, and two, for you to have your starting list. But at the end of the day, how many of you would agree that some of the things you identified and you wrote down are actually some of the exact same things currently holding you back in other areas of your life as well? Yes or yes?
Yes.
Does your health affect your income?
Yes.
Does your income affect your relationship?
Yes.
Does your relationship affect your happiness?
Yes.
Does your happiness affect your health?
Yes.
Does your health affect your happiness?
Yes.
So all of these are intercorrelated. Does it make sense that to be successful in any area of our life, we must first have a plan, second, commit to executing it, and third, have an unstoppable mental attitude? Yes or yes?
Yes.
What are all these things? I heard excuses. Sure, we have a very, scientific term at Tony Robbins. Tony's a very scientific guy. He calls these things your BS. Stands for what? Sort of. Belief systems. Yes. Come on, Thomas, who said that over here? Keep it PG. Belief systems. Your belief system is the most important system in your world. All human behavior is belief driven. How you think about any given subject determines your thoughts determine your actions or your lack of actions, which ultimately determine your results. It's the reason that some of you are sitting in this room right now that, you're crushing it in your business, and someone else in like the cubicle right next to you is not experiencing results at all, but you have the same management team, you have the same market, the same economy, the same crappy leads. Everything's the same. One person succeeds, one person doesn't. It's the reason some of you go home at night and you've got these like passionate, zesty, world lit on fire relationships, and other people can't find the way. It's the reason that one person gets to the gym 5 days a week, eats right consistently, hydrates, and another person says they don't have the. It's the reason one person just no matter what makes it happen, and another person just consistently finds excuses why they. And both people have different what? Someone's pattern or habit they've programmed in their brain is to make it happen, and another person's pattern or habit is to make an excuse. And this all comes down to the human brain. The definition of a belief, jot this down if you're quick enough, is a feeling. A belief is a feeling of absolute certainty that you and I have about something. A belief is a feeling of absolute certainty that we have about things. And you can be absolutely certain in 2 ways. How many ways?
2.
How many ways?
2.
The first type of belief that you can have is called a limiting belief. A what?
Limiting belief.
So when we talk about limiting beliefs, when you have limiting beliefs, they're actually like paralyzing you. They're giving you that fear and you feel stuck. A limiting belief is something that you say out loud or you say it in your head. I can't, I won't, I never will, I peaked in high school, I'm not good at math, I don't have a business degree, it'll never work for me, everybody hates me, I can't do it because I'm a woman, or I'm black, or I'm white, or I'm purple. Limiting beliefs. Make sense, yes? When we have limiting beliefs, they limit us. They limit our results. Yes? Follow?
Yes.
How many of you have ever had a limiting belief before in your life? Show of hands. Solid. We've got a whole bunch of them on the board. Now, on the flip side of a limiting belief, you've got a different type of belief, the good belief, the kind of belief that you want to train your to form. People in the top 20%, that's why they work with Tony Robbins, because he's training them how to take their existing brain to strengthen the muscle so that automatically, that autopilot pattern that they automatically develop this type of belief. This other type of belief that you can develop is called an empowering belief. What is it?
Empowering.
You have empowering beliefs. You're saying like, I got this. Move over, step aside, this one is mine. I'll be there. My age is my power. Youth is energy. Thank God I'm so old. All these young kids have no idea what's going on. They need someone seasoned. I remember I played college softball. I'd be out in right field, bottom of the 7th, bases loaded, championship game, everything on the line. And I'd be out in right field like, hit me the ball, Brenda. You know what I mean? I want the challenge. I crave the challenge. We look at things in different ways. If you were to push against my hand right now and push really, really hard, I'm applying pressure and she's applying pressure back. Yes or yes?
Yes.
And right now, it's going to start to get hard if we're at this for 15, 20, 30 minutes. And it's going to be challenging, but are we both getting stronger at the same time?
Yes.
Wow, what an interesting way to look at life. That the challenges placed upon you are actually making you stronger. Makes sense, yes?
Yes.
So when you have 2 different ways to look at something, now you have a what? A choice. Who said that? What's your name?
Elisa.
Elisa. Crushing it. Everyone say, you rock, Elisa, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Amazing. So now you have a choice. And I'll give you an example, a silly example of limiting and empowering beliefs. Obviously, I'm trained by Tony Robbins, so what belief do you think I've trained my brain to develop? Empowering beliefs. That's actually my new habitual pattern. But you take a speaker who's like not as good, and you throw them in a room, and someone's doing what?
Texting.
Yeah, on their phone, texting, whatever. It's 2020. That person might be like, oh my gosh, I suck. They hate me. I'm not connecting with them. They don't like this. I'm getting embarrassed and shy, like I'm not doing a good job in their head. And when you're in your head, you're, Meanwhile, someone grabs their phone in my session, I'm like, oh my gosh. They like this so much, they're texting their friends about it. They love this so much, they're posting me on Instagram. I get more engaged and more connected. Makes sense, yes?
Yes.
And that actually helps me add more what? And I get closer with you. So both of us same exact situation, one person gets closer to their outcome. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Phone rings right now. Hey, we need $100,000 tomorrow. Some of you in here, your pattern would to be like, that is crazy, bonkers, impossible. I'd say, what time tomorrow? My brain is thinking. It is programmed to think in the way that's going to get me closest to the outcome, so I don't have to waste any on a, excuse my French, shitty belief before I get to the good one. Makes sense, yes?
Yes.
And a lot of you in here, you said you struggled with like confidence or fear. Anyone that wrote confidence or fear down, do you have kids? Interesting. And if you don't have a kid, you have a dog.
Yes.
Same thing. So I want you to think right now, those of you that have fear or confidence, and this is an example I absolutely love to the deepest part of my heart. I want you to think about your kids for a second. In fact, who's my woman over here that said fear that has kids also? Right here. What's your name? Sue, right? Okay, so Sue. How many kids do you have? You have 2 kids? What are their names? Ara and Alex. And if you can't hear, she said Ara and Alex. So 2 kids, Ara and Alex. And when you okay, so they're grown men. So let me ask you this question. Let's say Ara or Alex, either one. They're like, they need their life saved. And in order to save it, you, Sue, would have to run in front of a moving bus. Would you do it?
Absolutely.
Wow. She said what?
Absolutely.
And how fast did she answer that?
Quick.
Huh.
Instantly.
Running in front of a bus is a pretty fearless thing to do, yes or yes?
Yes.
So in one area of Sue's life, she's like unbelievably fearless. Let me ask you this question. Scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love your kids? 100, she says. On a scale from 0 to 100%, what percent certain are you that you love them?
100%.
Huh, what a confident answer, would you say?
100%.
So why am I asking you this, Sue? Because isn't it true for every single one of us in here, if it's kids or if it's dog, or if you can even identify something you care about at that level, do you have something inside of yourself that you would run in front of a bus to save or to love on? Because for Sue, she would for her kids. Now, what type of belief are her kids in her life? Look at the type of action you will take when you have an empowering belief. Yes, you're biologically programmed to love your kids, but you can also train to have that same type of emotional connection to other things in your life, like your health or your spine. And you can do that, but you have to be able to create the what? To create the leverage. And so if we can copy and paste your mindset, Sue, with your kids and apply it to how you approach your business or how you approach your relationship, would it change things? What about for all of you?
Yes.
You absolutely can, but it's going to take a commitment to making a decision. A what?
Decision.
To change the what? And you can't just poof change it. You've got to put in the work. Put in the what? And I have to preface that because I have a lot of friends, they know I'm obsessed with optimizing the human experience. And they're like, KK, we know you work for Tony. Can we go to an event? I'm like, hell no, Jerry, because you just want to sit there and poof, be like, I'm peeing glitter, I have all these empowering beliefs, you think it's that easy. You've spent 60 years coming up with your crappy beliefs, you think you're just going to poof, have them gone? You've got to put in the what? That's why I said I don't like to come in and speak to people that dabble, I like to speak to people that are in the top what? And it's okay if you don't consider yourself there yet, because all you have to do is make how big of an adjustment? 2 millimeters. So why does all this crazy stuff matter? Because this year, 2020, is going to be the biggest money-making year in the last 100. And right now, you have an opportunity to reframe the entire existence of your upstairs. Make sense, yes?
Yes.
And the beliefs that you have and the patterns that you have are going to determine the results that you get this year, next year, and every single year in the future. And if you want to know the fancy system, scientifically proven to freaking do that, I can show it to you. All right. Do you want to know it?
Yes.
Do you want to know it?
Yes.
So the system I'm going to show you right now, and I'm going to zoom through it. This is the point of the session where people were like, I thought she talked fast, but whoa. I'm about to turn it up a notch. So I'm going to have you just lean in a little bit. Lean in a little bit. Take those shoulders, shift them back. Push your neighbor. Give me a woohoo. All right, let's dive in. So this right here is called the success cycle. The success what?
Cycle.
Tony teaches this to people he works with one-on-one. They pay $1 million for 8 hours of his time. There's a 4-year waiting list. $420,000 in an escrow account to get on the waiting list. That is the level that Tony Robbins plays at. That's why human beings that work with him explode their results in very short windows of time. What he teaches them is something called the success cycle. Now, he teaches this at UPW, but he does it over 6 hours, and I don't have that luxury. I don't even know if you guys even have 6 hours tonight. So that's why I'm going to go fast. Go what?
Fast.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Bottom left box has an R in it. It stands for results. Stands for what?
Results.
Now, chances are if you wrote any BS down here on your list, any limitation, when you decided what you wanted to do, become, or achieve in 2020 was probably reflective of the BS that you had been thinking of. Yes or yes?
Yeah. Yes.
If I think I'm too young and then I decide my goals, I'm probably going to create limited goals. Yes or yes?
Yes.
So right now we are going to redo everything. I don't care if you did any goal mapping in 2020. We're starting over, starting fresh. In this result box, I'm going to give you 10 seconds. That's it. Gut check reaction. I'm going to ask you if you tapped into 50% more, left it all on the table, nothing left. You went out on E in 2020. I mean full with energy, but like E in effort. If you tapped into 50% more and you figured out how to do the exact opposite of your BS, that BS was not there at all. You had all the confidence in the world to, no fear, all the confidence in the world. You managed your time like a freaking pro. You had no TV time. Your patterns were in check. If you did not have this stuff, you tapped into 50% more, I'm going to have you write down 3 things you would achieve this year. The thing I do not want to hear is like, better health. What is better health? You're probably going to sweat in traffic tomorrow and lose 2 pounds sitting there. Did you achieve your goal? You know, what percent body fat? How much muscle mass? Like, what's the exact goal and by what date do you want to achieve it? Make more money. Here's $1. You know, how much more money? What's the specifics? What would you do, be, and create with 0 limitations and the truth? Not what you would create with your limitations. Ask yourself, get reacquainted with what is possible for you. And what would you make happen? Thomas, what's something you would achieve?
A new home.
Who wants a new home in here? Show of hands. Solid. Everyone say you rock Thomas at 3. 1, 2, 3.
You rock, Thomas.
Mom, it's Thomas, everybody. You rock Thomas at 3. 1, 2, 3.
You rock, Thomas.
All right, much better. I'm going to draw a home. What else? Give me another one.
50% increase in savings towards retirement.
Booyah, baby. By what date?
Yeah, I was 31, thanks.
December 31st. Give her some love, everybody. All right, what else? Give me another one. Yeah.
I want to increase my income enough to be able to leave my job.
Which is how much money?
I haven't put it down yet.
Give me a number. Gut check.
Say 100,000.
100,000 an increase. Give him some. What's your name?
Stefan.
Everyone say you rock Stefan on 3. 1, 2, 3.
You rock, Stefan.
All right, so increase by 100K. Who wants to increase by 100K in their salary? Show of hands. Say aye. All right, what else? Give me another good one, juicy one.
Travel the world.
Travel the freaking world. Who said that? What's your name?
Lori.
Lori. Everyone say you rock Lori on 3. 1, 2, 3. You
You
rock
rock,
Lori.
Lori.
Who else wants to travel in here by show of hands? Say aye. Okay,
Aye.
awesome. So traveling. Then I would obviously ask you like where to, when do you want to go, all those things. Write that on your sheet. Give me another.
Go on a cruise with a group of friends, camp.
Beautiful. So specific. Give her some love. Go on a cruise. This is a cruise boat with a flag. What else? What? Climb a mountain. God, look at that. Here's a mountain. Graduate university, I hear?
Become varsity.
Oh, become varsity. And what sport?
Wrestling.
Yes! What's your name? Aaron! You rock Aaron on 3. 1, 2, 3.
You rock, Aaron.
That is so badass. Okay, here's the wrestler. Like this. What else?
Pay off the mortgage.
Pay off mortgage. Yes. Who wants to pay off their mortgage this year? My show of hands. Heck yes. What's your name? What is it? Therese. You rock Therese on 3. 1, 2, 3.
You rock, Therese.
Okay, so pay off mortgage. Now, why am I asking you all this fun stuff? I told you before, if this is representative of 50% more, does everyone want to do these things? Yes or yes?
Yes.
So we have to think about things in a different way, a different perspective. Get some what?
Leverage.
This, I actually don't care. You all told me those things, it's great. I don't care about what you want at all. I don't. What I want to know is this so that you could see who do I have to become to make these things happen. Make sense, yes?
Yes.
For you to have $100,000 increase so you could leave your job, then you're going to have an increase in which one of those things that you mentioned earlier?
Confidence.
100%. You know, for us to pay off our mortgage, what internal patterns are we going to have to remove, and then which ones are we going to have to build? For us to travel the world, what is already in the way of us doing that? What things do we have to change or reframe? This is the next level version of you. Does that make sense? Yes?
Yes.
This section right here is the reason everything changed for me after I met Tony, went to UPW, the whole shebang, because on the third day of a UPW event is the day that you develop what? For like 13 hours straight, Tony doesn't even leave the stage, doesn't even like pee or yawn. He's just up there with you building leverage. And he had asked us, he said, look at your big list of BS here. If you were to look at that list and pick out one thing that's just in your way the most, that sucker that just is always getting in the way, if you could only remove one thing, what would it be? He said circle it. So circle yours. Mine was procrastination. I was like, if I could just stop procrastinating, everything in my life would change. And I will tell you about my leverage. Is that when we were at this event, he said, look at your BS, look at the thing you circled, and then ask yourself, what does that thing cost you? What does it cost you? Like what? What's the next level? Is it a certain job? Who's in your life now? Who's not in your life now? What did we not raise our hand for? You know, what business opportunity did we miss out on? Who did we hurt? You know, what's the tangible thing we missed out on? Because that's a great representation of some leverage, some away from leverage. You want towards and you want away. When I did this exercise, I thought of my niece. Her name is Tula, 4 years old. Most important person in literally my entire world. And I don't get to go home a lot. I'm 100% Greek, so family's important to me. And Tula is like the cutest damn thing in the world. You have a niece, mine is cuter. No question about it. And every time I go home, I see her and I grab her and put her on this chair. And we look at each other eye to eye. And I say the same things to her. We do these things together. We say, I am strong. I can do anything. I am amazing. Whatever we're feeling that day, but we do it together. And then I look at her dead in the eye and I tell her how she can do anything that she wants in the world. Because I actually truly mean that. Does anyone have a little person in their life that they look at and they know that they could just do anything? Anybody? And when I had left my master's, I left my master's and I was going to apply for this job with Google in sales. Definitely would have got it because you know. And what did I do?
Soul searched.
Procrastinated. And I missed the job. Because I missed the job, I accepted a job for $38,000 in Chicago. And not to say anything about that amount of money, but that role for me was, I was dissatisfied on the inside, know that I was capable of more at another higher level. And because of that, living in Chicago, that's my hometown, if you couldn't hear it in my voice already. From Chicago, I had to live at home with my parents, and I was every single day existing in a cult of
Average.
yes, knowing that I could do more. And then that third day of the event, he said, what does that cost you? And I thought about Tula, and I was like, this chick's gonna wake up one day and she's gonna look at me and she's gonna say, Thea, aren't you so proud of me? I'm making $38,000. And I felt so sick to my stomach because in that moment I recognized I am either an example or a warning for her. And what version of myself have I allowed to exist because it's been a habit? And in that moment, Tula became my To where when I was going to make a decision about do or not do or create or not create, it was so crystal clear. We always as human beings know in our heart and soul the right thing to do, yes or yes. And then sometimes we don't do it for a whole bunch of reasons. But if you were to take your leverage, if you have someone in your life that you care about and you would do more for than you would do yourself, anyone have someone like that? Go ahead and write their name inside your result box. And ask yourself, if you became this version of you, would it positively impact that person's life? Yes or yes?
Yes.
If you did not do everything it took to become this version of you, would it negatively impact that person's life? Yes or yes?
Yes.
So now some of you are like, shit, I actually got to do something about this. Because now you get to the decision line where you either step up to the plate or step back. Where you either change your pattern and risk getting uncomfortable, or some of you stay in the comfort zone. Which one sounds better now? Getting uncomfortable. Look how small of a shift that was. How small? How small? In order for every single one of you in this room to be this version of you, because this is like sticking its hand out, begging you to step up to the plate. If you know inside of yourself that this you exists, then in order to make this happen, are there specific and measurable that you must take on a day-to-day basis, yes or no?
Yes.
And what the heck are those actions? Decide, what are they? And then we have to go from just thinking about it to actually doing it. That's the thing about action. People want to think about it. They maybe want to do it. They're kind of interested in doing it. You don't get anything you're interested in your life. You get something that you're committed to. Too many people make 2020 resolutions and they make preferences. I'd prefer not to smoke. I'd prefer not to eat, Mac Daddy triple pounder. I'd prefer to be nicer to my partner. But then we don't stick to it. A decision literally means to cut off from. Tony talks about this all the time when someone's trying to quit smoking. Anyone know someone that's ever tried to quit smoking?
Yeah.
When you decide to quit smoking, you don't say, I'm trying to quit smoking. You're like, I don't smoke. Because a decision is a cutoff. So we decide, we make a decision to take, and in order to take the action to produce the result, you tell me how much of our potential must we tap into, a little or a lot? A little or a lot? What's the potential of a human being? Infinite. And who's the only one that can steal your potential? Yeah, no one's gonna break into your house tonight and be like, Benny, grab the potential on the way out. We do that to ourselves every single day. It's bananas. In order for you to tap into all of your potential, to take all of the action, to produce all of this result, pop quiz, baby. What type of belief must you form, train your brain to form about the market, the economy, your time, your talents, your resources, and your skills, negative or positive? Limiting or empowering? Heck yeah. And once you have a good belief one time, once you take action, once you make a decision that's in line with this identity one time, then guess what? You form a new what? Habit. Your beliefs and your patterns together dictate your results. You had enough confidence, you believed in yourself to cut your bangs one time. You believed in Santa Claus for 8 years. You can believe in yourself for 4 seconds. Believe in yourself one time, form a new pattern. Because if you think about someone right now that's totally struggling in their life, not getting results they want, dissatisfied, and you were to ask yourself what type of belief do they normally operate with, is it a limiting or empowering?
Limiting.
If they have a limiting belief, do they tap into more or less of their potential?
Less.
And then do they take more or less action?
Less.
And then do they produce more or less results?
Less.
And so then they're hating their results, they're not happy about life, they're dead from the neck up, they're walking around thinking, woe is me, and they're saying things like what? Told you so, the market sucks. Told you so, I could never sell anything, I'm an introvert. Told you so, I missed the boat, peaked in high school. We say all these things, all this BS, to claim, to prove why we're a 5, because it's easier to have a reason to be a 5 than to go for it and be a 10. Do you follow me? Yeah. And right now, if you figured out what all these pieces of BS cost you, how much longer do you want to stay there? That's why I love these sessions. Who's enjoying this so far, by the way? I love this session so much because none of this stuff you never knew before. This is all common sense, yes or yes?
Yes.
And we fall into this thing called the I know mind. Oh, I work in self-development, so I hate this. People that are like, I know that. I read that. I get it. I'm like, you don't do it. You don't know it. You know what I mean, yes? We know we should eat, like, less sugar, but then we, like, pound 7 cookies in the Whole Foods while we're making our food. That's a personal one. I mean, I do that. Guilty. But we know all this stuff. So let me ask you this question. If I were to take this marker and just chuck it outside into the parking lot and leave it there for like 5 years and come back 5 years later, because Doc and I were like, let's grab coffee, catch up, all the things. And I was like, what about the marker that I threw outside? And we went, found the marker. Would it be the same marker, a better marker, or worse?
Worse.
Heck yes, because nothing in life stays what? It's like nature or a plant. It is growing or it's what? And it's like every single one of you in this room. Either we grow, we change, we adapt, we flex, we embrace change and opportunity, or we get left in the frickin' dust by who? Ourselves, our competition, our competitors. And I don't care, we're all different. We're from different places, we're different ages, we're different backgrounds. Is your storybook over? No. This is the story with me and my dad. My dad is, I'm 100% Greek. We're blue collar from Chicago. We have our own family business. We've had it for 25 years. And my dad is like the most stuck in his ways, stubborn Greek dad. I'm talking, I brought my first boyfriend home. He had a gun on the table. And he literally had this clipboard. Can I borrow this? He had a clipboard. He smacked it on the ground and he looked at him. And it said, application to date my daughter. Questions like, do you have tattoos? How many sexual partners have you had? Like crazy. This is my dad. So I start to get into this self-development world. I'm 23 years old. I apply for this job that I shouldn't be getting. And I work my butt off. I wake up at 4 a.m. every single day listening to my own voice, training on Tony content. You fast forward months of me training and training and training. And then I get this job. And it's been a year and a half. But I go home and the only person that I want to tell is who?
Yeah.
And I go home and I'm like, guys, I'm gonna be so excited. I'm like, Dad! I got the job with Tony. I'm so excited. And he's like, that's your thing. 100%. He's like, I'm not into that. You can take your hocus pocus and do it yourself. Like, you're not into it. He thinks like mindset training is all woohoo, wah wah. But my dad, keep in mind, we've had this business for 25 years, and his way of adding value to my family was working in the business. That was what he thought. You know, so he was never at my softball games, never at my cheer competitions. He was like, I'm going to put a roof over their head. You know, how are you not happy? I add so much value, and his way of doing that was like working himself to the ground. And now I'm starting to do all this training. I'm starting to recognize limiting beliefs. And by the way, thank you for holding the space for me to share this today, because none of the people here even know this story. And I said to my dad, I'm starting to recognize this and learn these things, and I'm like, wow, my dad has a lot of limiting beliefs. You know, and he's 63 now, and he's about to go into phase 2 of his journey, and I know that him and my mom have so much more for themselves. Like, this isn't it. He's about to take this business he built for 25 years, retire, close the door, and have nothing to show for it. And I'm like, you've worked so hard. I'm like, Dad, come to UPW. Come to Unleash the Power Within, buy a bet. He's like, are you kidding? Are you having to go to this stupid event? Don't ask me anymore. And I ask again, because, you know, 7 no's to get to, yes. I ask him again. Don't ask me anymore. I'm not going to your event. Leasha's out of me. I'm devastated. Because I know there's more. My mom went to the event. Now she plays the guitar. She just turned 60. She bought a guitar. She's like, I always wanted to play music. It's like nuts what my family has been through. But my dad would not go. And how many of you wanted something so bad for someone else more than they wanted it for themselves? Yeah. And it's hard to do that. It's hard to live like that. And I knew there was so much more for my dad. And I'm in a training with my team of 6. And my boss is Tony Robbins' brother, Scotty. It's his brother-in-law. And I'm crying because I'm thinking about my dad. And he goes to me, what's your BS? We're doing the whole shebang, and then I tell him the story about my dad. And I'm like, you know, I care so deeply about my dad. I'm so happy that I'm in this journey doing this for me, and all I want is my dad to have this experience because, you know, he used to be like, he used to go skiing and snowboarding and like make whiskey with his friends, like all these things. Like, there's more for him. And I tell this story, and then I said, you know, and he said no, and I'm crying. And then Scotty looks at me dead in the eye, and he says, you know, Carissa, you're incredible at what you do, but you can't sell shit. And I was like, wait, what? I thought we were having a moment. And he goes, how many no's does it take to get a yes in today's market?
7.
How many times do you ask your dad?
3, 4.
What are you crying for? You know, I had to change my approach, change my perspective. So I booked a flight home to Chicago, 24-hour trip, get my hair done. And I go to my dad. I sat down with him and I said, Dad, I'm going through a lot right now in my life. Like a lot of change. I packed up all my stuff, moved to New York, like I have no family here, I travel full time. And every time I go to UPW, which is every single time we host the event, I play full out, I go all out, but it challenges me. And the only person that has always consistently been there for me through the challenge is you. It would mean the absolute world to me if you would be there to support me in Dallas, Texas. He said, yeah, absolutely, I'll be there. Books a ticket that night, he gets all this stuff. You know, when you do something for someone you love, it's almost easier. And then he books it, and he just complains the whole time leading up to it. But I knew, I was like, I just gotta get my dad in the door. Yeah, and so he gets in there still complaining. I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna embarrass me in front of Tony's brother. He's gonna say things like, this is crazy. And he gets there, he's complaining the whole time because when you're in an event like that, it's like full immersion. So you're getting control of your physiology or the way you move your body. Some people are like just learning how to clap for like the first time in their life. It's like, you gotta do a lot of stuff. So my dad texts me like, what is this crazy hazarai? We say that in Greek, it means shit. And he's like, what's going on? But I knew if my dad would just get through the first day that he'd be fine. And the first day is all about mindset. So you're like exploding your mind. Tony takes like 42 years of knowledge and compresses it into this one day. 13 hours straight, your mindset, up and down, up and down. And I'm like, God, I hope he gets through this. But I'm like, he just has to get through the first day. Because the end of the first day is where you lock in a new pattern. A new what? A lot of people get excited just like you're getting excited right now, but you leave and do what? So how do you fix that? At the end of the day, Tony does this thing called the fire walk. What is it? So he says, take off your shoes, roll up your pant legs. I have the binoculars, like, will my dad go? Oh my God, is he gonna go? So he's like, take off your shoes, roll up your pant legs, we're going outside. Takes off his shoes, I'm like, is he going? He's walking outside, I lose him, because there's thousands of people. And I hear the story later. My dad's like walking outside, and he's like, I'm not doing this shit. This is nuts. Crazy people walking on fire, are you kidding me? It's fake. It's not fake. It's probably graphics on the ground and they're pretending that they're walking on fire. So I'm just like complaining the whole time when everyone else is having a kick-ass time. My dad, like, because he has what beliefs? Always. He gets up to the front of the line and then he sees the fire and guess what? It's what? Oh yeah, he says, no fucking way am I doing that. Turns around, thousands of people, so now he can't get out and now he has to go. Now when push comes to shove, do like men step up to the plate, yes or yes? Yes. Now my dad says, you kidding me, a little bit of fire, like, I can walk on fire, I build a business. See, a little bit of fire, no big deal. So he's got the shoes on, he's in there, he's ready to walk on it. Now check this out. Everything I've taught you today, this is a mini UPW, comes down to this moment. When you stand in front of a fire or a challenge in your life, when shit is hitting the fan, you have two choices. Step into the challenge, step into the fire, or go back to the what zone? Welcome to the human existence, straddling this decision line. My dad's in front of it. Fire is blazing. He's about to get barefoot and walk on it. 15 feet of burning hot coal. Does he have to do it? No. But now he's like, if I don't do it, I'm a what? Chicken. 100%. So he's looking at it, and then he has to get everything inside of him. What he trained is what? Grab some what? His new beliefs. What kind of beliefs? And he looks at the fire, And he says, bring it on. Hits the fire, walks to the other side. My dad's like, like 60 years, like released. And he's like, if I can do this, I can do what? Now, day 2, we have the family business, which is 25 years. So I'm like, if my dad just like comes back for day 2, I'm freaking golden. Because it's all about business. It's like business mastery day. It's all about influence. And not just how to influence other people, but how to influence who? Yourself. So I'm like, God, I just like hope he gets the second day. So I'm there. We're not talking. Can I borrow this chair? Could you squish this one? Sure. So we're not talking because he won't talk to me. He's like, don't talk to me. This stuff is crazy. You're crazy. My family thinks I'm crazy. They just know it. But I'm at the top. It's a huge stadium in Dallas, Texas, and I'm looking for my dad. I'm like, did he come back the second day? I've got Scotty over here. I'm like, Scotty, I think my dad came back. I went to Target, got binocular, old school. I'm in here, and I put my dad in the closest section. It's called Diamond Premiere. All like the celeb Oprah sat there. I'm like, I'm gonna put my dad with like top people because I want him to just like up level the mind. Look in there, can't find him anywhere. Literally anywhere. And it's kind of crazy. I can't see in the binocular because people are like moving and jumping and stuff. And his character is like in the way. I can't totally see, so I'm still committed to finding him. And the person in the way turns around, and it's my dad, the guy that was jumping. And he's like, and he turns around, and he has a shirt on that says, "I am a firewalker." And he has a hat on that says Tony Robbins, and I'm like, and he goes that day. And he goes the third day. And the third day is the day you build the what? Transformation day. He does the entire day. And he finds me at the end. He says, meet me outside. And I meet him outside, and he looks me in the eye, and he says, thank you for not giving up on me. And he called me literally just 2 days ago. He said, Krista, I don't know what you've done to me. It's been about 6 months since he went. He said, I was in Pep Boys. And I just ended up motivating everyone in the lobby. I was like, he's like, this guy said he didn't have a leg. I'm like, well, what could you do, dude? And he's like, in there, he said, I can't thank you for like giving me this other page of my life. Yeah. It almost ended at 60. He almost closed the door on his business, had nothing to show for it. Since then, he went home, grabbed my mom, and was like, baby, I fucking love you. Like, I can't even be around him. Their relationship is so lit up. My mom buys a freaking guitar. My dad is doing everything. They're both coming to San Jose. Like, he's lost like 30 pounds. He got these like 30 push-up things that he's doing like on the wall. Like, it's just absolutely nuts. And the lesson that I took away from my dad is a lot of people that I work with are thriving like all of you guys. Look nice, smell nice, you're crushing life, And the one lesson I learned from my dad is that he spent his whole life adding value to everyone else and never added value to who? Himself. And sometimes you just need someone next to you who's strong enough to hold the space for you to figure that out. And the best gift that I've ever been given is not anything to do with me, but it's the gift of seeing someone I love so effing much find what's next for them. Like, his story wasn't done, but he rewrote it. And nothing changed. Not one mechanic, not one tool, not one event. Everything to do with the mind. Are you following me?
Yes.
If you're in this room, you've been given the most amazing gifts on the planet. One of them you're living in. It's your human body. Like, put your hand on your heart for just a hot second. You feel it beating in there? It beats, you live. Someone loved you enough to just freaking give you this heart. You didn't have to do anything to earn it. And we have all of these little moments in our lives. We can be present to the beauty in all things. We have eyes that see and ears that hear. And Dr. TJ, what else do you need? You've been given the most amazing computer in the world, which is what? Your brain. Computers run programs. So the very simple question we ask ourselves is, what program do I have running? My dad's was, I'm the man of the house. I don't need anyone else to tell me what to do. So he ran that program for so long that he resisted growth. My mom said, I was too old, I'm too old, I'm too old, I'm too old. Now she's #1 in sales of all of North America, of a powerhouse logistics company out of Chicago, where everyone she works with is my age. And she just had her 62nd birthday. Susie Q, Southside Sweet Sue, we call her. I'll get by program, maybe Sunday program, when I have the time, when I have the money. Do you see how these programs we say are the habits that run our life? Yes or yes? Who has the power to change them? So let's just say that right now you guys were all like, you know what, KK, I'm in. You say jump, I'm like, how high? Who's ready to get to the next level right now? Who's fired up? So right now, let's just say you decide to completely transform your mindset to a place where you no longer let the outside world dictate your internal world. So now your beliefs, your results, is that you're freaking phenomenal at everything that you do. Any client would be foolish not to do business with you. When every other human being on earth serves down here, where do you serve? Up top. Every single time, because that's just who you are. Shitty market, good. Crappy economy, good. You got fired from your job, amazing. Because you're relentless, you're resilient, that's just your identity. Makes sense?
Yes.
With beliefs like that, do you tap into more or less of your potential? Do you take more or less action?
More.
Do you produce more or less results?
More.
You're probably like, this is sissy stuff. You're thinking, no, I have way more than I could do, be, achieve, and create. Yes or yes?
Yes.
And all you have to be willing to do, it's so simple. You have to make a decision that is how much different?
2 millimeters.
That is it. Who is willing to go 2 millimeters further in your businesses, in your life this year? And if you're willing to, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I want you to give me a yeah, baby.
Yeah,
Give me a yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
So what I want to do here is end this sucker in a peak state. Peak what?
State.
On day one of any Tony event, you learn how to create a peak state from the inside of your body. You get you're like pea and glitter. Peak state's different for everybody. So if you think I'm a lot, our peak states don't have to be the same. But you got to get into that state of flow when you run into a bus. So I'm going to have two things right now before I wrap up and turn this sucker over. I'm going to tell you one thing that's really, really exciting, and then we're going to end in a peak state. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
I'm going to switch it. We're going to end in a peak state first. Everyone stand up for me. Drop your pens, drop your papers. All right. Take a big deep breath in. Stretch it out. Shakira, Shakira, shake the hips, shake the body. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. And then I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. What I mean by that is literally close them. Some of you are like this. And then you and I make weird eye contact and the whole thing's weird. So just close your eyes. Got it, yes? All right. Go ahead and close them. And your job is to be like a little kid. Don't be like a boring adult. Be like 4 years old. Be creative. Be visionary. In your mind right now, I want you to see yourself walking down a beautiful street. Any street in the world. If you like snowy season, fine. If you want to see yourself on Rodeo Drive, fine. If you want to see yourself on the Alameda or whatever it's called, I don't care. But see yourself walking down a street, just you, and it's beautiful outside. And I want you to notice yourself. And your job is to see this vividly and clearly. I want you to notice the self, the version of you that you identified tonight, the true you. And I want you to notice everything about yourself. Starting with your body. How do you stand and walk? Go ahead and get into that body position right now. Are your shoulders back? Is your head up? You know, are you strutting? Are you swinging your hips side to side? Are you beefing out your chest? What does it look like? And embody that position. And just see yourself enjoying this moment. And look at what you're wearing, what this version of you is wearing. Look at what this version of you is noticing. Are you noticing the small things like the flowers, the trees, the sun? And right next to you, I want you to imagine the people that are closest to you in your life, they appear right next to you. Maybe you're holding hands with some of them, but you're all walking down the street. And see what they're wearing. See how they look at this version of you. What do they say about this version of you? And behind that appears every single human being that is affected by you being the best version of yourself. it's the clients that you serve, or you have a million grandbabies, or it's your extended family, or it's your business partners, or your colleagues, or your neighbors, or your nation, or your town. I want you to see all those people just accumulating. And because you're your best, the other people that are around you, how they rise, and then who impacts them. Before you know it, you'll see seas of people walking behind you on the street with your head up as you're leading this. And really, truly notice how coming from your purest essence, the purest form of you, the lovingest form of you, impacts the world. And finally, I want you to come up with one thing, big or small, one thing that you're looking to achieve in 2020. Could be tomorrow, could be next week, could be next month. Heck, maybe not in 2020, maybe it's in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. But come up with something that would really make you beautifully happy. Something that you want to achieve. And in your mind, vividly, clearly, I want you to design the moment that you make it happen. Design the moment that you make it happen. Yes, you can smile. You guys are doing such a good job. See yourself in that moment like you're watching from a window. And you just did this thing that you've been dying to do. You made it happen. And I want you to see what you look like, what you're wearing, who's around you. How do you celebrate? Do you hug your favorite person in the world? Do you lay a fat, juicy smooch on someone you love? Are people clapping, celebrating? Is there paparazzi there? What does it look like? And really feel the moment and feel how excited you feel as if it were happening right now. And be able to feel that excitement and be in your body. If you need to realign your shoulders right now or lift your head up, go ahead. But see this moment so clearly that you could go back to it tonight, you could go back to it tomorrow, you could go back to it next week if you needed to. And fill up. Now before we end, I'm going to have you come up with one thing, big or small, that you are grateful for in your life. It is impossible to be depressed and grateful at the same time. It is impossible to be scared and grateful at the same time. It is impossible to feel fear and grateful at the same time. What is something that you are so grateful for in your life right now? What's a person or a thing or an experience? Maybe it was just that you got to go to the bathroom and no kids walked in on you this morning. Maybe it was that you had coffee in silence this morning, or maybe it's this moment right here. Really feel how grateful you are and fill up with that. And when you're ready, take a big deep breath in. Big deep breath out. And open your eyes. Now what you just started creating, you're at the very beginning, is forward leverage. Did that feel good?
Yes.
How you feel right now, what if you lived your entire life from this place? Would it change things? Now, a lot of people can think of these type of things, but they walk out the doors and they go back to the same old what? So how do we make this who you are? You have to be willing to get uncomfortable. So I need you to take your left hand out, and you're going to take all of this beautiful leverage we just created and just throw it in your hand. It should feel heavy because you guys had a lot going on. And I would like 3 volunteers to come up here. Remember, leaders go first. Yeah, girl, come on up here. Yeah, Thomas, heck yeah. We need one more. Yes, Stefan, crushing it. Yeah, my man. Okay, my energy leaders, just come up around here. So everyone's gonna have their left hand out, right hand back. Now, this final exercise I'm doing with you, it takes like the most confident people in the world to do something like this. So, Stefan, this is your time to shine, my man. Now, you got all this leverage in here. When we leave today, we're all gonna leave at a level what? 10. Level what? 10. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions. How many questions?
3.
The first question, don't hate me. You're going to respond by grabbing this leverage out of your hand in a peak state and saying, yes! The second question, you're going to respond by saying, yes! And the third question is much different. How much different? I'm going to ask you a question, and you're going to respond with 3 different claps. You're going to say, yes, 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 whoa, yes. Now, the hair flip is optional, but the energy level is not. Some of you underproducers in here are like, oh, here we go again, another one of these rah-rah inspiration people. Hell yes, I am, and you just wait until the end of it, okay? Now, some people tell me I crack a what? 100% I do. If you guys shit the bed on this, we're redoing it. So, level what? Level what?
10.
Not a 9.9, not a 9.999, full-blown 10. Football locker room style. Spread out, take out your hoops. I don't care what you gotta do, but get in the game. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, you guys up here, everyone, they're at a 10. You guys have to be at 15. Okay? I'm gonna go off the chair so I can actually participate. All right. Left hand out, right hand back. Are you ready to make 2020 the best effing year of your life?
Yes!
Hold up and get back up. I saw some of you do this. Yes! Does that look like a level 10?
No.
How many of you, if you're being honest, know truly that you had another level inside of you? By show of hands. Keep them up all the way. You had more inside of you. Now look around the room. How many times do we say in the morning, oh, I'm going to give my all today? And then we show up at like what? What would you guys say that clap was? A rating, 1 to 10. About a 6. I would give you like a 1, honestly. Compared to a Tony event, terrible. Which is pretty much worse than where we started. So either I suck or you suck. I'm not sure. What makes it okay for us to underperform in any area? If we did this at a 5, does that mean that it's a what? It's a habit. What other areas of your life do you underproduce in? When's the best time to change that? Because if we can't do it here, are we going to do it out there? Heck no. And I believe in you guys. You got this. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Left hand out, right hand back. Spread out. Get yourself some room. Are you ready to make 2020 the best effing year of your life?
Yes!
Are you committed to destroying that BS?
Yes!
Are we going to do it together as a team? Do you feel something different inside your body right now? Yes or yes?
Yes.
Welcome to a peak state. In a state like this, could you do better in your business?
Yes.
Could you impact your health at a higher level?
Yes.
Could you make decisions that are in line with your best self?
Yes.
Who gave this feeling to you?
Me.
You did. Because you were willing to get uncomfortable and still play at a level.
Yes.
Step up to the
Right.
get your
Leverage.
new beliefs. What kind?
Empowering.
I tricked you. Empowering beliefs and get your what? Mindset. Life rewards people that play at this type of level. They don't reward 9.9ers, 9.999ers. They reward you when you play all out. Whatever you feel right now, I want you to take this gift that you just gave yourself, bottle it up, go out there and change the effing world with it. Give it to the people that you love. Give it to yourself because it doesn't feel better to live like this. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Now I'm going to wrap up here today by one saying, did you enjoy the heck out of this or what?
Yes.
I'm like sweating out of my elbows. I travel the world. You guys know that. I'm leaving here tonight to jump on a red eye. And I meet so many incredible people. And I told you when I came to this office, I took out my credit card. And I became a client here because I love these people so incredibly much. And I don't just love them because they're good at, aligning the spine and cracking the backs. I love them so much because of the human beings that they are.
Yes.
And I heard a quote by Les Brown. He said, judge a man or a woman not by what they do, but what they do when they do not do it. And the first time I ever spoke here, I shared this quote. Why? Because you have leadership in this room. You have 2 incredible doctors right here. Give them some love.
Yes.
Did they have to put this on for you tonight?
No.
No. And who got value?
We did.
Who got more value than they thought they would? And they didn't even have to do it. And when we find people like that in our life, I think it's so important to take an incredibly sincere moment and just show our gratitude. So I'm grateful for you guys. I think we all are. Let's give them some love. fun gift to give you. You guys probably enjoyed today, yes?
Yes.
Now, the entire team here at Discover is going to our event in March 12th through 15th. Tony's coming to town. How many of you think the event sounds freaking awesome? So I'm coming back today. I know you guys are going to freak out about this, but we actually pulled together a partnership, and we are going to give all of you, anyone connected to them here tonight, get discounted tickets to go see Tony in March 12th through 15th. I know, So, and I need you to, take your hand and pat yourself on the back, because if you're not present in the room, you don't get it. Why? Tony wants to reward people that take what? So, I'm not going to go out and just give this to anyone. You guys are only getting discounted tickets, one, because you're affiliated to them, but two, because you showed up tonight on a what's the day of the week? Monday night, you're here, you stayed. I think I went over time by a lot, but you're still here at a level 10. So that is why you are getting it. And it's my highest honor and privilege. I will be there, and I'm actually going to personally take care of every single one of you going. So I'm going to be in the San Jose area. I'll meet you there at the event. And I'm so freaking excited that we get to do this.
Yeah.
So, how many of you in the room want to be in that group with Doc and the team? Just show of hands. And then with your hands, I need to know, because I reserved just a few, how many, if people are not here and they're connected to you, how many tickets are you going to want personally? Put that number up on your hands. And then I need a helper just to count that out.
What's the cost?
4? Give, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, I think I have enough. So here's what the deal is. I'm going to invite the man, the myth, the legend, Doc up here. And then I have the forms. My company printed out some old school forms so that we can make this discount happen for you guys. So I'll bring you up, do your thing, and then I'll hang out there. And if any of you want this and to go with them, meet me out there whenever this shindig wraps up. And then I am going to take care of all of you. And listen to me clearly. You can't take the form and leave because you don't know the codes to write on it. I'm going to walk you all through that. And I've got to have your paper tonight because I'm obviously leaving on a flight tonight. And I'm going to get Wi-Fi and do it all for you then. Make sense, yes?
Yeah.
A few common questions. I have somebody that's not here that I really want to go, and they're just like your dad, or just like my sister, or they're my Uber driver, and they should go, and they're not here. If you get your ticket, you can add people to it, and I can make that available on your account. So once you get yours, we can add other people. That's only going to be available for a week from when you buy your ticket. Make sense, yes? Yes. Other questions? You can just answer them later on email to me. Sound good, yes? Yes. All right, I love you guys. Thank you. Bye, guys.
I don't know.
Okay, a couple of quick announcements. First of all, everyone on 3, KKU Rock. 1, 2, 3.
KKU Rock!
Hey, by the way, when she came to our office and she said, "Can you believe Tony Robbins hired me at 23?" After you hear her talk, can you believe he didn't hire me? How is it possible not to hire that, right? And I'll tell you another funny story. When we were planning for this, Dr. Osborne said, "I'll do the opening and you close." I said, "No problem, that's good." And then she came up and he looked at me and said, "Are you glad you're doing the closing?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh." For the first time in my life, I thought, "Oh my gosh, I have to follow that on the stage." All right, a couple of quick things coming up, and then we'll get out of here, okay? I want to tell you one little thing. The reason I pushed for all of you guys to be here, I honestly talked to more people about this event than any event we've ever done, and here's why. When I was in 8th grade, my parents took me to see Zig Ziglar. I didn't know anything about any of this, and it changed my life. You know why? I learned all the things that she's talking about. I wanted to be a Division I swimmer. I don't know how it happened, but I became a Division I swimmer. I wanted to be a chiropractor. I became a chiropractor. I set goals and did action steps, and I look back, even when I was younger, those lessons that you learn today, I wanted kids to be here. My daughter's here. Other children in my life are here specifically to learn those things. Plant those seeds. Okay, plant those seeds. A couple things coming up. So you guys know, we have a makeover coming up on February 28th. It's a Friday. It's called New Beginnings. Dr. Osborne and I, we're going to do it here. The tickets are only $20, but they're $10 if your name's on the sign-up sheet for today. We are not going to sell products or anything today, but if your name is on the list for the next week, they're $10 if you come in and get those for that event that's going to be here. It will be sold out again, just like this. A couple other things. New patient, anyone who wants to sign up tonight, we have 40% off the first visit. Product, there's a product coupon in the handout. Yeah. That's 10% off. That's good for a week, they said. Okay, we're not going to do product tonight, but that will be up. Better Results Faster class is coming up. Don't miss that. I want to thank everyone. These events don't happen easy, guys. There's a lot of planning. Our staff spends a ton of time behind the scenes working so that we can be up here and do those things. So make sure you thank Vanessa and Alyssa and Katie and the gang, because they work really hard to set this stuff up for you guys, okay? What a great office to be a part of, right? I thank you guys for being here. I will see you guys. Hopefully you guys are all coming, because I have always, my entire life, wanted to go see Tony Robbins, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to he's actually here, and we're going to get to go see him. So hopefully you guys all join us. KK will be out there. Come up and meet.
Right here in She's
going to do it right here. All right. So thanks again for coming. Give yourself a hand. Great job. Good night, guys.
I'm going to pass out. If you're somebody